You know Michael Jackson was innocent. No, I'm a Michael Jackson truther.
I'm okay with it.
Well, I am against white Mike. I like Filipino white.
Wait,
I
no,
like
but
Filipino
you
Michael.
looked at me like I was insane, Mikey. Let me tell you a little.
I respect the king. I think there's no better performer, but he had a couple extra rooms in his mansion.
Well,
He
let
had
me
a
tell you
million
something
rooms in
about
his
these
mansion.
rooms. Let me tell you something about these rooms. The misinformation online. Michael Jackson did more for children than any celebrity has ever done, arguably, when it came to his work that he did in Africa, feeding hungry children. But let's not even talk about
Like
all
Dwayne
the...
Robinson, nobody would know who he is today
I like
without
how
him.
you
Is that his name?
you fought him about the amendments, and we're about to fight
Yeah, we're
him
about to fight a Michael. But let me...
about white Mike. Only
okay
white
with this.
Mike.
But I, know
I
we
like
only-
black Mike.
I know we only have so much time, so I'm not going to go into the full thing, but I'll just give a short... There was a documentary about Michael Jackson that was supposedly the one that exposed him leaving Neverland. I'm sure you saw it on that. You know, everybody saw this one. But in that, there was two key witnesses. These guys were named Wade Robinson and James Safechuck.
Wade Robinson.
Now, Wade Robinson was a guy...
Choreographer.
and was actually directed and choreographed some Britney Spears music videos. Was friends with Michael Jackson since he was a little kid. But what's really significant about Wade Robinson is that Michael Jackson only paid one civil settlement to one kid, and that kid's dad, conveniently, shortly thereafter, after the settlement, the kid and the stepdad actually was the stepdad that encouraged him. Jordy Chandler was the kid's name. They broke off. They became estranged from each other, and the stepdad shortly thereafter ended up killing himself. If you look up the Jordy Chandler story, it's very weird. And actually, at the time, Johnny Cochran was one of the attorneys and wanted to fight it. And his other attorney said it would just be better, Michael, if we paid it. So that was the one thing where you have him, but it was a civil suit. It was not a criminal suit. So real quick, Michael Jackson was investigated for 19 years by the FBI. They never found one instance of any child pornography. They did find some, it was like a carnival. It was like some sort of art where like it was a kid like depicted like kind of like naked or something, but it wasn't child porn. That was the only thing. That's like the only thing they
Just
found.
a naked kid.
It sounds bad, but it was some sort of like
Was it Peter
carnival
Pan?
art. It was like from a carnival. It was like an antique thing. It wasn't a
Which he
paper-
liked, and Michael
That's
liked
what I'm
to
saying.
go
It was
buy
like some
stuff.
antique, like it was worth a very expensive, like carnival piece from some famous circus or something. But that, like the rumors that he had child porn, that was not true. And this was not child porn. He was not arrested. Did a thing where one of the kids said that he had this birthmark on his penis. He showed his penis to the FBI. Did not have the birthmark or whatever. The FBI investigated him for 19 years. So there was 2 times where they tried to charge him, and it was for like similar, things. Wade Robinson, this guy that said that he was anally and was the lead character in this documentary, was Michael Jackson's key character witness twice and was cross-examined by the top prosecutor in the state of California saying, did Michael Jackson rape you? Did he rape you? We have evidence of him raping kids even though they didn't. Did he rape you? And this guy, Wade Robinson, twice in front of, like I said, this is the top state prosecutor. This is just some lawyer just go to law school. Like this is a guy that interrogates witnesses for a living at the highest level. Said Michael Jackson never touched him, treated him the utmost respect, was like a father to him. Then James Safechuck in the documentary conveniently said that he was anally in the train house. The year that James Safechuck said that he was in that train house, not only was the train house not even built, but the plans by the architecture firm, some famous architecture firm in LA, you can look it up, weren't even drawn. Like the plans weren't even drawn. They didn't even have the blueprints because they have the blueprints, dates that it was ordered. They have all this. But this kid said that he was getting in this train house and that year. So yes, you could say, oh, a kid got a date wrong. Of course, we get date wrongs all the time. But when you're making this documentary, and the fact that James Safechuck's his family, they were from Australia. They were going through some financial hardships. And at the time, Michael Jackson bought him like a $300,000 house. When they sold it, it was worth like $1.5 million because of the real estate in California boom from like the 80s to the whatever. So Michael Jackson, Wade Robinson and James Safechuck helped them significantly. Both of them, had his back until conveniently after he died. They were both. And Michael Jackson was around kids forever. He traveled around the world, was with kids all the time. And yes, it is weird. It is very weird that a man that old would sleep with a kid. You're exactly right. But when you look at his unique story, is that he was part of the Jackson 5 and that he has a thing called Arrested Development where, Mikey, you and I got to play video games. You and I got to go to Blockbuster or whatever. We got to have a childhood. I got to have a childhood. Shannon, I'm guessing you got to have a childhood. You got to go to girls' houses, do spend the night parties. Michael Jackson didn't get to do spend the night parties. Michael Jackson never got to go to a friend's house and spend the night on Saturday, go to Blockbuster. So he has what is called Arrested Development. So was Michael Jackson mentally stunted? Yes, but Michael Jackson was a genius when it came to, he had some of the largest publishing of any catalog of any artist. Like, he would make more money during Christmas because he would have all these Christmas songs that we don't even think about. He owned the publishing to these songs. So every year, these same commercials, Hallmark would use these famous, Christmas songs. He owned all this. So when he died, conveniently, Sony got his catalog of publishing, which was like, think of the biggest. He owned the Beatles. You guys know this. He owned the Beatles music. So think about how smart. So Michael Jackson's not a dummy. You don't just accidentally get the Beatles catalog because you're a dummy. So it's just provably false that, listen, Michael Jackson was weird. Did he spend the night, do sleepovers? Macaulay Culkin was at these sleepovers, said that he was never touched, not one time. Corey Feldman.
I was just about to mention Corey, but look at Corey.
But listen what Corey says. Corey says he was at these sleepovers and that he did get molested, but not by Michael Jackson. So I just feel like, if we're just the preponderance of evidence, as they say in a court of law, I don't think that he touched any kids. And there's multiple allegations against him that were provably false. So
I was molested, but not by Michael. That's like saying I went to a freak off at Diddy's house and someone plugged my hiney, but it wasn't Diddy.
I know, but he didn't
It's
say
still
it happened.
pretty bad.
What I'm saying is he didn't say it happened at Michael's house. He said that he was molested by somebody on a set.
Okay.
But that he actually hung out with Michael for years, and
Yeah.
Michael never touched him. So, I mean, listen, and Michael would not be dumb enough to molest, I don't think, but did he probably molested Bieber? I would think Michael Jackson, if he was a molester, which I don't think he was, he wouldn't be molesting Macaulay Culkin. That would be stupid, right? I mean, the kid's so famous. But listen.
He was a crown jewel, Macaulay.
People get mad at me because I am a Michael Jackson truther. I've actually debated this. I've talked about this subject. It's a subject I'm passionate about. And I didn't even do any pre-research. Sometimes I need to do some research because there's other facts and stuff that I need to bring up, but I just can't remember it because my brain's not a computer. But Michael Jackson loved children, not in a sexual way. And supposedly, there's actually girls. Have you seen the clips of the girls that said Michael Jackson banged them hard?
No.
Never saw that.
Yes. Mike, look that up. Look up. There's a girl saying that Michael Jackson dicked her down hard.
I mean, he paid for somebody to have his children and pretend like it's his. He could plant this information. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
He could have paid this girl. She could have been full of shit. But yeah, she said that Michael Jackson fucked her and fucked her good.
I don't have strong feelings either way. I just feel like either way can be easily disproven because there's no hard evidence either way.
Yeah.
Michael showed his penis and didn't have a birthmark on it?
I mean,
whatever.
he has a different face. He couldn't get a birthmark removed from his penis.
Yeah, maybe, but
True.
he was never convicted by the FBI for 19 years.
That is pretty wild.
And then also with what you said, it was Wade Robson that
That was
testified
choreographed,
on his behalf. So there are lots of people that are abused and don't come forward.
You're right about this, and I'm not.
By the way, I'm not saying I believe this. I'm just devil's
I
advocate.
know being devil's advocate, but and I want to be empathetic to that thought. Of course, this kid is Michael Jackson. I would lie. That's what his excuse is, that he would lie for Michael Jackson. But at some point, when you're on, and I don't know if you've been to court, but court's intense. You know what I mean? It's if Michael even touched his penis at all, why would he risk putting him on the stand as his main character witness with even the possibility of him saying that, if that was possible?
But maybe because he felt like he was so dedicated to him.
I know, but you would just trust this kid?
Would Johnny Cochran trust his little honky?
I just saying, I feel like Michael, he chose to use him as a key character witness. It wasn't like this. It wasn't the state. He said, "This is my character witness." This they already did the prosecution already put their case. Now this is the defense putting on their case, and they said this is our first witness to say how good Michael Jackson is. So he wouldn't purposely choose a kid that he potentially molested to let the state of California cross-examine him. And like I said, the people that were cross-examined, you can look up the attorney. I can't think of his name. It was two different lawsuits, two different prosecutors. But these are guys that put away serious murderers and serious guys that they were able to trip up, serious criminals. And you can't trip up, and at the time, Wade Robson, I think when he testified, was 18 or 19. So he was an adult, but he wasn't.
Yeah, put
He's still
Macaulay
kinda-
up there, who's an actor.
Yeah, as I'm saying, he's a choreographer.
It's all
and you're
hearsay.
dealing with a top-level attorney. Not this Better Call Saul attorney. You're dealing with a freaking top prosecutor. So it's just
Great
a
show.
little harder.
What about the voicemails and the letters? Mike would leave voicemails.
Yeah, I'd say leave
and
voicemails.
letters.
for kids.
That's you think that just goes with the Arrested Development kind of thing of a child wanting.
Well, I
to
mean, I
talk
don't
to
think
his
he was in
friends.
the letters. He was saying he wants to suck their dicks.
No, but he's like, oh, I can't wait to go on vacation again and maybe we can sleep over.
Mike, once you become a big celebrity like me, you're gonna realize that, and I say that obviously in jest. People send me letters all the time, and they love it if I send them something back. I'm just
it.
it's just a little thing, and I'm not saying that I'm so famous, but people love it if you mail them something that's handwritten.
Of course,
it means so. Listen, you're right. I'm just saying it's different. You're Michael Jackson. You have fans, and you send a letter to them. That's their prized possession.
Yeah.
So
they just made up the fact that Michael wanted them to look at the Peter Pan cutout, butt-ass naked, with their assholes out while he pleased himself. Do you think that just was like they both just had that and they both made it up?
Dude,
that's on the documentary. That's what they said.
That sounds so fake. That's what Michael Jackson was to jack off when they put their ass out of Peter Pan. That doesn't even make sense, dude. Even for a pedophile wouldn't even like that. He just want to look at their ass. He would say spread it open. He's not even involved in Peter Pan and all. That doesn't even make sense.
Your Louisiana's showing.
Louisiana's showing. Talk about that.
Peanut butter, Peter Pan's butt. I mean, listen, Michael Jackson probably.
I'm delivered. I think Michael was innocent now. He swayed me.
I'm going to send you a documentary, and there's ones that are like 6 hours. There's ones that are more condensed. That are like
give me the condensed one.
1 hour. But there's and dude, Michael Jackson, and there's been tons of podcasts. I think there's like a clip of them talking about it on Joe Rogan. I forget, but you can look this up. Where Michael Jackson would have to rent out a Ralph's and would have actors so he could go shop at a grocery store to just feel what that was like. Like you and I take it for granted. We go to the grocery store like, fuck this place. I got to go buy we're all annoyed. Yeah. He had to rent it out because he wanted to feel that. So he's different. Like his mind, I hate to be like this. He's better than like he's he's just a higher artist than we are.
Bang the shit out of chicks.
Yeah, and so listen, Michael Jackson's probably not perfect, but he's arguably the greatest artist of all time. I mean, definitely.
You love his music?
Dude, how could you? If anybody said I don't like Michael Jackson's music, what? Yeah. Your ears don't work. Like you don't have to like every song, but some of his songs are some of the greatest songs of all time. So you like listen to Thriller, you're like this song sucks. Like it's just you can't.
I've been listening to Liberian Girl,
dude. And it's also conveniently died. Like we have to get into conspiracies. What is the song? They're against us. What is it called? They don't care about us. They don't care about us. Whatever. He said some stuff about a country in Israel that was unfavorable in that song.
Oh, that's why they came after him.
Well, that's what they say.
It's all coming together.
The Jewish conspiracy.
So he's the original Kanye. Michael Ye.
That's what they say. That's what they say is a lot of the people that may be created. And I'm not saying this. I don't co-sign this. I just read this on internet websites.
It's just Michael Jackson's mouthpiece.
That maybe it was somebody from a country that he was talking out against created a propaganda campaign against him. But I'm not saying that. That sounds far-fetched to me. I disagree with that.
Okay.